Shalom, call hello, Yahweh Shemel, Shabbat, Shemakak, Madash, double honor, to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that pushing the word and truth and in sincerity, the hope of the Lord Tabernacle of David. The brother elder, Yashawan, Shalom and salutations to you all. Happy Hanukkah. It's a World War III daily update. I'm looking for the word blockade because I heard Canadian Nate say it. Blockade. B-L-O. These are war words. Block. Aid. B-L-O-C-K. A-D. One more time. Not there. Blockade. During blockades and hardship, they will eat the other's flesh. Let's look at this. Blockade. The siege. The blockade. Let's see. So look, what did I just do? Okay, Jeremiah 19:9. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons. What is this? Is it talking about a war here? It's talking about a siege. And the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend. In the siege and the straitness wherewith their enemies, and they that seek their lives shall straighten them. Let's see if we can get that up here. I will see to it that your enemies lay siege to the city until all the food is gone. Okay, that's what's going to cause that siege and straightness. Okay, the food is gone. Famine. Then those trapped inside will eat their own sons and daughters and friends. They will be driven to utter despair. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Scoff at everyone. Okay, yeah. This is talking about Jake, actually. That's talking about Jake. But what I'm getting at is blockade. Let's get another one. Whenever you blockade a city, what does it mean to blockade? To stop goods from going in and out. When does that come about? Let's look that up real quick. Let's look up the word blockade. Get real quick. Okay, blockade is the act of physically blocking access to or from a place like a port, city, country, usually by military. This is what we want right here. Usually by military force, ships or troops to cut off people, supplies, communication, or commerce. Often during wartime. That's the point. These are military terms. Blockade. It's a military term, often during wartime, but it can also mean any strategic barrier or even a medical inhibition of nerve signals. All right, so basically it's dealing with the military. Okay. Or war. Right here. The isolation by a warring nation of an enemy area, such as a harbor, by troops or warships to prevent passage of persons or supplies. So the blockade has to do, it's a war tactic. right? So now, and the point I'm making is wars and rumors of war, meaning the fame of war. All people are talking about is war. When you hear the word blockade, is that not talking about the war, right? Especially when you're blockading the Strait of Hormuz or the Al Bab Mandeb. Here we go. Take it. This is Nate 2 hours ago, so it's pretty recent. And give the update.
Still
Nate.
Active, 40% off everything. So we still do have a lot of heating systems, cooling
He's selling EDC supplies.
systems, things like that you can get for off-grid use.
All right, come on. Stop selling shit and tell us what the hell is going on in geopolitics, specifically the war and blockades.
Now, the big news is, where do we even start? I mean, we have another tanker that is either, it's inconclusive, is either in pursuit or already has been boarded by the U.S. Coast Guard. Or
does it belong to China, is the question.
So the U.S. Coast Guard is reportedly in pursuit of the Bella, a Panama flag. After it refused boarding, the vessel is on sanctions list and en route to Venezuela. There was one that was just picked up, I think, yesterday. It had a 1.8 million barrels of oil that was intended for China. So, of course, this is an attack on China. Make no mistake about it, regardless of Tucker Carlson's failed predictions, Trump...
Regardless of who, why you keep mentioning Tucker? Why is Tucker so integral to everything? Tucker Carlson speaks at TPUSA and changes the world with his speech.
We're going to announce it anyways. A blockade is war. It's inevitable that there's going to be a war with Venezuela. And
what did he say? We spent all that time on that word. And he puts it together, blockade puts it together with a war. A blockade is war. It's a what?
One that was just picked up, I think, yesterday. It had a 1.8 million barrels of oil that was intended for China.
What are we talking about? Blockade of what? Well, they're stealing people's oil. They're stealing whole oil vessels. So what are they going to do? They're going to blockade something. Why? Because we're at war. Nobody has said as much. If he's talking about blockades, what do blockades signify? War. You haven't been told that you're at war or world war. I've been saying it now for a year and a half.
So, of course, this is an attack on China. Make no mistake about it, regardless of Tucker Carlson's failed predictions, Trump is never going to announce it anyways.
Never going to announce what? Trump is never going to announce what? That we've been at war for the last year and a half? And now you can see it. No, I'm blowing up ships and it's just a little fentanyl.
Barrels of oil that was intended for China. So, of course, this is an attack on China. Make no mistake about it, regardless of Tucker Carlson's failed predictions, Trump is never going to announce it anyways. A blockade is war. It's inevitable that there's going to be a war with Venezuela unless Maduro flees and the reigning government there folds and they put in their puppet dictator Machado, and everybody gets their way and everybody makes their money. And of course, this whole false pretense of narco-terrorists has now completely dissolved in the narrative. Have you noticed that over the span of 24 hours? It's no longer about narcotics coming into the United States from Venezuela, which was bullshit from the start. Complete and utter bullshit. 0% of fentanyl came from Venezuela, okay? Maybe there was some cocaine and some other stuff. But, I mean, most of that was orchestrated and initiated by the CIA long ago anyways. Regardless, now the narrative has shifted to it being about, well, they owe us money because when they nationalized all the oil fields, they kicked out people, so they owe us money, they owe us land. So the narrative has...
This is not about drugs, this is about money for the drugs that they owe us.
Completely shifted. So why wasn't that the focus before? So what this tells me is because they've gone mask off so quick, that's a sign that they're rushing. Okay, time is of the essence here.
Rushing.
Because
the Russians are already there. No, it's cheap jokes.
They would draw out, the false pretense much longer, whether it was, weapons of mass destruction or we're under risk of preemptive attack from said country or the risk of terrorism, of whatnot. Typically, they draw that out a little bit longer. Now they just don't even care anymore because it seems as though their supporters, most of which are MAGA, are completely oblivious to this or just disregard it altogether as something worthy of note. So it looks like they're going to go to war with Venezuela. They're amassing a huge armada of ships at the time of making this video. The blockade is fully enforced, and we're now looking at about 3 oil tankers that have already been interdicted by said armada.
We'll end it right there. You tell me if we're at war or not. Stealing each other's oil pretty much tells you what the hell is going on. We get out the old-fashioned way. It's Revelation 11 and 14 in any version. The second woe has passed. Behold, the third woe is coming shortly. I would say that we're in it. Right? So be careful how you read this. Understand, the actions of maritime admiralty, if you will. Shalom to the elect.